If you regularly find yourself waking up at 3 a.m. and tossing and turning all night, not able to get back to sleep, then this video is for you. My name's Helen and I'm a yoga teacher, and I'm also somebody that lived with sleep deprivation for many, many years. I used to work shifts and I never had a regular sleeping pattern, and it really did have an impact on my overall well-being, because sleep really is the first pillar of health. If we don't get sleep, we don't access that deep healing rest that we need in our bodies to help us repair and restore. So the first thing you need to understand is the relationship between melatonin, which is the sleep hormone, and cortisol, the stress hormone. These two have an opposite relationship. Melatonin, which doesn't make us go to sleep, but it signals to the body that we are ready to go to sleep, starts to be secreted at around 9 p.m. It reaches a peak in the middle of the night and then slowly descends till the morning. Cortisol, on the other hand, should be low in the evening, and then at around 3 a.m., that golden hour, it starts to be secreted, reaching a peak at around 7 a.m. to actually wake us up. If you have low cortisol in your body in the evening, when it starts to be secreted at 3 a.m., it won't really make a difference to you and it won't wake you up. However, if you've got high cortisol already when you start to go off to sleep, then when it's secreted at 3 a.m., you've already got a high volume in your body, extra cortisol being released, then you are going to be wide awake and you're not going to be able to go back to sleep. What can you do about it? The first thing is to look at what activities you are doing in the evening. Are you doing activities that bring about a relaxation response in the body, or are you doing stuff that's really activating? I used to go to a handstanding class that actually started at 9 p.m. and finished at 10 p.m. Whenever I went to this class, lo and behold, I could not get to sleep at all. And the reason was, obviously, doing handstands is really exhilarating, and I was full of cortisol and wide awake. I was never going to get to sleep. Avoid things like going to the gym, doing intense activities, high intensity workouts, a lot of cardio late in the evening, because you will raise the cortisol levels in your body. Also, are you working late into the evening? Are you at home on your laptop checking your emails, feeling that sort of stress response in your body from looking at all this work stuff? Don't do it. Focus on relaxation in the evening, whether it's reading a book, doing some easy yoga, some easy stretches, maybe watching a film that's not too invigorating. And if you focus on more relaxation and keeping that cortisol level down, then it will really help you get a good night's sleep. Another thing that's helpful to know is that light is the enemy of sleep. If you are looking at a device leading up to you going to sleep, this is stimulating your brain, and melatonin, which is the sleep hormone, is only created in the pineal gland, and the pineal gland only works in the dark. If you're exposed to all this light late at night, that sleep hormone is not going to be secreted. What can you do? It's recommended not to look at a device for 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed. You can actually buy glasses that block out blue light, and I'll post a link below to some glasses that you can purchase. But think about as well what you're looking at on your device. Are you scrolling through social media? Are you looking at the news? Are you absorbing all of this stress and all these troubles and worries from other parts of the world? We get a constant stream of it in our feeds, and it can create a stress response in the body. Also, if you find yourself waking up in the night, that magic hour, 3 a.m., and you can't get back to sleep, the worst thing you can do is reach for your device and start scrolling, because again, light is entering your eyes and it is suppressing that melatonin. Another thing to remember as well is if you need to get up and go to the bathroom in the night, try to avoid putting on the light in the bathroom. I remember sometimes when I would wake up and I would walk down the corridor with my hands along the walls, almost blind, to try and use the bathroom without turning the light on. It can make a big difference if you avoid being exposed to light. Another thing to avoid is stimulants like caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine actually has a half-life of 6 hours. So if you drink a cup of coffee at midday, by 9 p.m. you still got a quarter of a cup of coffee and caffeine in your system. And obviously caffeine is something that makes us alert. We all love our coffee. Just try to have it in the morning and avoid consuming caffeine and alcohol, which is also a stimulant, in the evening. Another thing that can affect your night's sleep is how much daylight you had during the day. When our retinas are exposed to daylight and it enters our eyes, it signals to the brain to produce serotonin. Serotonin is our happy hormone, and serotonin is also a precursor to melatonin, the sleep hormone. If we don't have enough serotonin in our system, then this will affect the volume of melatonin that we have. I used to work on the 21st floor of a building in the center of London. It was a big open plan building and I was right in the center of it. I was nowhere near the windows to actually receive proper daylight into my eyes. I used to have to go out at lunchtime and walk around after getting in the lift, going down 21 floors and multiple people getting in. It was such a rigmarole, but without doing that, I would not have been exposed to daylight all day long, and it can really make a difference to your well-being. How can you get daylight into your eyes? If you have outside chores to do, then try and do them before midday. I do appreciate that it's difficult now that the clocks have gone back. Sometimes when I worked nights and I would be on a 7 till 7 shift in the winter, I never saw daylight, because I'd be working all night, I'd go to work in the dark, I'd come home in the dark, and I'd go to sleep during the day, and it was dusk when I woke up again. It was a pretty grim existence and no good for my health. Take a look at how much daylight you're getting during the day, how much exposure, and see where you can make adjustments. Seasonal affective disorder, SAD, is a real thing, and it is all linked to serotonin being created with daylight, because serotonin is our happy feel-good hormone. It's also worth noting that serotonin is created in the gut. Having good gut health can also make a difference to your well-being. And the last thing you can do is have a closing ceremony. This is a ritual that you do every night before you go to sleep. It will signal to the brain and to the body that you're ready for your sleep. It could be anything as simple as doing a couple of stretches before you go to bed, maybe mindfully brushing your teeth, having a skincare regime. I like to use a gua sha with facial oil. If I do that regularly every night before I go to bed, it is signaling to my body and my brain that I am preparing for sleep and ready to go to sleep, because our bodies and our brains love routines. So to summarize, remember the relationship between melatonin, the sleep hormone, and cortisol, the stress activating hormone. In the evening, melatonin should be high and cortisol should be low. Look at what activities you are doing in the evening leading up going to bed. Are you doing stuff that relaxes you, or are you doing stuff that keeps you awake and invigorates you? You want to avoid the latter, because we don't want any more cortisol in our system. Avoid stimulants like caffeine and alcohol. These will keep you awake. Make sure you're getting enough daylight during the day, because this helps with the creation of serotonin, which is needed for our melatonin. And finally, have a closing ceremony, have a ritual that you do on a regular basis before you go to sleep that signals to your brain and body that you are ready for your slumber. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. If so, please give me a thumbs up, and if you like my content, please feel free to subscribe. I create videos for women just like me, over 50, to help with their well-being, health, and general fitness.